I'm Kate Nesbitt, and this is The Rounds, a podcast where nursing professionals, community leaders, and nursing faculty share stories and practical advice for current and future nurses of all specialties.
And I'm Brooke Mosley. I'm a nursing student here at Troy University.
Today, we're talking obstetrics. That's the OB and OBGYN.
Ms. Amy Davis has been a labor and delivery nurse for 34 years. She teaches obstetrics at Troy University.
She'll tell us how having children herself increased her understanding of her patients.
And we'll bust some of the most popular myths around pregnancy.
What made you choose OB?
So I actually started out as a physical therapy major and decided that I didn't like it. It just wasn't for me. I grew up in a really small town. I grew up in Geneva, so we didn't have labor and delivery in Geneva. So really, that had never crossed my mind. But one of my classmates decided she was changing her major to nursing, and I'm like, I don't know about that. And she's like, well, I want to be a labor and delivery nurse. And I'm like, wait a minute, you mean you can just do that? Because I had always been crazy about babies and anything related to children. And so when I realized that that was a possibility, I changed my major the next week, and it was kind of history from there. It's where I worked as a student. It's where I did my senior practicum hours. It's where I've worked ever since.
Any skills that you think are kind of necessary to be an OB nurse? Anything that kind of sticks out that all OB nurses kind of need to be good?
Theoretically, all OB nurses definitely need physical skills. Need to be super good with IVs because all of your patients are going to get an IV. And sometimes they're going to be hurting and thrashing around all over the place. So you got to be good at hitting a moving target. Sometimes in a hurry. There's a huge compassion side of it and patience. Like it's a lot more personal than a lot of other areas of nursing. It's really one of the biggest days in their life as a family. And so you really have to quickly kind of adjust to like their personalities and their vibe. And, some patients want you to be real bubbly and outgoing and make them laugh, and some want it really quiet and calm. And so you got to be really perceptive and kind of learn to do what they need to feel comfortable.
What has sort of changed in OB in the last however many years, especially with after COVID and telemedicine, and how has that sort of changed for you?
Technology has changed a lot. Now, COVID itself was like a huge little isolated thing because all of a sudden patients couldn't have all of their family members. Most places only allowed one visitor. They couldn't go to childbirth classes because all those were canceled. So it's like we kind of suspended in time there for a little while. The biggest change overall through the years that I've been doing it has just been the technology aspect of it. In some ways, that's been really good. I mean, it adds a lot of things that are great. In some ways, I think it makes it more challenging because sometimes newer nurses can kind of forget. When I became a nurse, you didn't have a choice but to sit at the patient's bedside and kind of really get to know your patient because you couldn't go out to the desk and watch the fetal monitor. You had to be in the room. So I think sometimes it does make it challenging for newer nurses to remember to focus on the patient and not the monitors, but it also adds it makes it helpful in ways too.
Always check the patient.
Check the
before
patient.
The monitor.
Yeah, labor your patient, don't labor your monitor.
So what does a work-life balance mean for you in this scenario? Because I almost can't distinguish I don't know if I would be able to distinguish with my babies. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right. You do kind of bring that into it. You certainly think about your experiences, and especially once you are a mom. Actually, that's one of the things that makes it really fun for me, because being a mom has been definitely one of the highlights of my life, and having children, that joy that you feel when you have your children. I love taking care of my patients knowing they're about to feel that, especially for the first time. So that's actually one of the things I love the most about my job is knowing what they're about to feel. Now, of course, when things go wrong, occasionally we try not to do that, but it happens. It is hard not to take it home with you. It's sometimes hard for our nurses when they're pregnant and taking care of patients who are going through really difficult things. It is sometimes a little, and we try not to assign like pregnant nurses to patients who are struggling because it really can be kind of emotional. It's kind of hard to separate sometimes.
But it also helps you kind of relate to your patient. You've had 3 boys,
I have 3
correct?
boys, yes.
And just, you've been there, you've done that, and then
Yes.
you've got a new mom who's coming in who's never done it. You kind of, like, well, I've done it 3 times now. Let me give you some advice.
Exactly. It really does. I mean, you do. You learn things that you can tell them. I was a nurse for a long time before. I was a labor nurse for about 8 years before I had my first one. And it really was, even though I had taken care of a lot of patients, it's definitely different when you've actually done it yourself.
So Miss Davis was actually not only my professor, but also my clinical instructor for OB. So we've been there and done that a little bit together. But how do you go about preparing students before, like, their first OB clinical?
So one of the things that I do that Brooke went through is I actually have like a clinical orientation where I do bring in like some guest speakers, some people that I work with, talk about the fetal monitors and talk about the NICU and talk about breastfeeding and some of the things that they're going to see, because obviously we can't get to everything in class before you go to clinical. So that's one good way to kind of help them get some idea of what they're going to be looking at before you walk in the door.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that clinical orientation, I felt way more confused leaving than I did when I got there.
You do.
I did not understand fetal heart monitors until almost the end of the semester.
Yes.
And, that day and then learning about breast milk, that day was just impressive. I was like, it does this and it does what?
It's like, yeah, it's crazy.
Honestly, as a mom who's not even a nurse, it's just magic.
It is.
Whatever it is, whatever you got, it fixes it.
It fixes
That's
everything. Like, it adjusts to, it's really, the more I learn about breast milk, the more fascinating it is.
Yeah. Not to go on a tangent about breast milk, but the fact that it changes consistency, wild.
Yes.
Wild.
And it gives baby baby needs more calories? All right,
Yeah.
up it.
I mean,
baby
the
needs
color
antibodies?
thing-
Up, got it.
The color thing, okay, sure. Can get a little on board with that. The fact that it's like, at some point when I had my children, I was like, I'm not sure how people do this for a year, because I only have so much. I got so much storage. There's only so much storage that a person can have. I don't know how this is happening because they're already eating so much and I don't think I could do it. And then someone was like, well, it changes consistency. It goes from like a glass of water to a smoothie. And I went, no,
Yes.
It changes consistency.
And actually, I've started creating this whole list, and I give to the students of interesting facts. I mean, there's even breast milk is different if you have boys versus girls. It's different in the morning and at night. At night, it has more melatonin and things in it. It's like if your child starts getting sick the next day, it has more antibodies in it. It's crazy. It's absolutely
It's magic.
It is.
The body is magic, honestly.
For sure.
Magic machines.
Okay, so what are some myths that I may have about OB and and everything that you can debunk?
Okay, the myths. Oh, goodness. Some of the ones we laugh about that I've been hearing since I became a nurse. There's the one about that we had, and you don't hear it so much anymore, but hear it still. Little grannies will get all upset if their granddaughter's water breaks because they're afraid they're going to have a dry birth, that all the water's just going to run out. I guess they have this image that it's just going to be dry and painful. I don't know where that came from, because I've never seen a single birth in my entire life that was dry. My guess is it probably came from the fact that your contractions do get stronger when your water breaks, and it is more painful, but not because it's dry. So the dreaded dry birth, that's a myth. There's no such thing. There's the myth about if you have a lot of heartburn, baby's going to have lots of hair.
That's a myth. Everybody who says, oh, I had lots of heartburn, their baby comes out with some hair.
Yeah. No, if that were true, my first child would have had like
Long,
been like
luscious
Rapunzel.
locks.
Yeah. And no, he had almost no hair. I mean, you got a chance of getting it right. I mean, it's like
50-50.
50-50, it's like, but no, there's no truth to that. That's an old wives' tale. So, trying to think, what are some other ones?
Any of the gender ones? Like, there are so many. I see videos about people testing and trying. I mean, I know that they're influencers and they're trying to build up this, magic moment of revealing to the world what their baby's gender is. But some of them I think are ridiculous.
Some of them are ridiculous, yes.
Like the string one?
The string, that's ridiculous, yes. A string.
That has
cannot
nothing to do with anything.
Well, no.
The
Because
way the wind blows.
it was what it was when it was conceived. So what the string did had nothing to do with it. I promise you. There are a lot of those, and you're right. But they have a 50-50 chance. So you're going to get it right sometimes. There are some very few things. Really, none of those little tests. Those are all silly. Those are just for fun. If you want to do them, they're fun. Go ahead, but. Not going to really tell you anything.
Can you share one of your most memorable cases since you've been a labor nurse, or either from a teacher's perspective with a student?
Oh, wow. That's hard. 34 years.
Yeah.
I have a lot of memorable cases. As far as a nurse, I don't know that there's just one in particular. Some of the ones that stand out the most are patients that, either you run into them again later, like in a gas station, 5 years later, and they come running up to you, or they come back to have another baby, and you get to see them, repeat customers, I guess. You've already developed this bond, and you get to see them again. Those kind of stick with you. Unfortunately, some of the ones who have gone through, losing a baby, those really stay with you for a long time. And especially when they come back in and are able to successfully have a healthy baby, those are just, over the moon. Mm-hmm. Those are so special because you've kind of been through them, especially if you get to be there and you've seen them through that heartbreak and get to see come through to the other side of that. Mm-hmm. Those are really good. With nursing students, my favorite, it's not one particular thing, not an isolated incident, but it's especially students who are really interested in labor and delivery when they see that first delivery, or even I've had a few that come into clinicals and they're like, and I can think of one in particular, she was like, I don't know, that's not my thing, Miss Davis. I just, no, that's not what I want to do. I'm not so sure about this going in delivery thing. And she came back out after her first delivery and she was crying. And she's like, I don't know what just happened, but that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I love it when it surprises them. I always tell them, I was like, if you think you're going to love labor and delivery, I hope you're obsessed by the time you get done. And if you think you're going to hate it, I hope you at least end up thinking, well, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
So
I think that's how I was when I started. I remember telling you, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. Labor and delivery just does not pique an interest for me. Actually, when we got to our first clinical, there was a patient who was 9 centimeters dilated. And she's like, oh, great, who's ready? And I, no, ma'am, not me. I cowered in the corner. That's not me.
trying to hide.
Yeah, she called me out. She's like, this is yours. Go have fun. And I ended up actually really enjoying it. And then so much to the point it made me kind of reconsider where do I actually want to go in nursing?
What do I really want to do?
What do I want to do?
It'll surprise you. It'll grow on you.
Yeah.
Well, what's some advice for decompressing and sort of washing the day off that you can give some of the students? Because I know that's with labor and delivery. You're seeing the best day in somebody's life, and sometimes you see the worst. And
for sure. Of course, the best, you don't necessarily want to wash that off always. I mean, sometimes it's great when you have that good day and you do kind of take it with you and you're like, that was amazing. And I got to see new life come into this world. Thankfully, labor and delivery is mostly wonderful and happy, but when it's bad, it's really, really bad. And those days are super hard physically and emotionally for us as well as the patient. And, you go sit in your car and you bawl your eyeballs out, and you try to, of course, I always tell students, if you get to the point that it doesn't bother you, you probably need to change jobs, first of all. It really should bother you. But really, what in the end, after you kind of cry it out and kind of deal with it, what you have to keep in mind is that at least hopefully you could be there for her on the very worst day of her life, and try to help her navigate that. And when you see them again, a lot of the patients do say that, that was the most horrendous day of my entire life, but you were there for me. And so you just have to know that you made a difference. So.
Well, and I know you know about the SNAIL here at Troy, the
Yes.
Student Nursing Aid for Infant Loss. One of their biggest things, from my understanding, is just you kind of confront the struggle. You don't try to hide it. You don't push it down. You're like, so this happened. I'm here. What can I do? How can I help?
Right. And really that's what most patients want. And I think that's something that we're making progress with just recently in medicine and society, because for so long it was one of those things people didn't want to talk about. It's like, no, I don't want to talk about that. That's too uncomfortable. So these parents have lost their child and nobody wants to talk about their baby. And it's still their baby, and they still want to talk about their baby, but nobody wants to talk about it because that's uncomfortable. So I think we really do need to get to the point where we allow them space to talk about it and talk about how they're feeling, and not just try to pretend and smile when they go out because they don't want to make people uncomfortable, and then go home and cry their eyeballs out. So
They go home and then don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's a really good thing that I think we're talking about it more.
Any advice to help students stand out who are interested in OB or interested in mama baby nursing? What can they do in clinicals or preceptorship to kind of stand out in that aspect?
One of the biggest pieces of advice I would give students for when they're in clinicals or if they're working as a tech is jumping in and volunteering and hey, can I go, can I go do this? Can I see this? Can you explain this to me? Not just kind of sitting there hanging out and being like, oh, okay, well, whatever. Students who show that motivation, that they want to learn, that they want to know more, they want to see more, do more, those are the ones that the nurses and the nurse managers really notice. They really pick, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, you need to hire her. She's really motivated and she's going to be good. And because those are the nurses that are going to want to keep continuing to learn and grow and are going to do really well.
Well, we've come full circle on this episode of The Rounds. We want to thank our guest, Amy Davis. But before we go, don't be afraid to press that call button. Record a voice memo with your question for our guests and send it to kross120311@troy.edu. It can be anything from, how do I get started in nursing, to why does it hurt when I do this? Quick disclaimer, nothing you hear on The Round should be considered medical advice. If you have a serious medical question, please ask your doctor.
You can stay up to date on new episodes of The Rounds by subscribing on the podcast platform of your choice. And be sure to share with the nurse or nursing student in your life. The Rounds is recorded in the studios of Troy Public Radio and is produced by Austin Toy, Kate Nesbitt, and the College of Health Sciences at Troy University.
So, until next time, I'm Kate.
And I'm Brooke.
We'll see you again next month when The Rounds returns.